What's up, everybody? In the shop today, I've got a 2011 Acura TSX. It's a V6, and this customer has an issue where it's not running right. Check engine lights on, but it's not misfiring. Kind of rough at idle, a little hesitant to start. VSA lights are on. Power steering lights for the electronic power steering, all that stuff. So um, basically they came in and said that they had ran the codes. It had a P0335 code, which is just crankshaft, no signal, basically. So they replaced it, and he said it maybe ran a little bit better, but still problematic. Had to pause it for a parts guy. Basically, like I was saying, he had replaced the crank sensor, didn't really fix it. Was wondering if there was some issue with wiring or whatever. So, gonna just kind of show you quick and easy diag on this one. And first thing I did was ask him, did you use a factory sensor? Did you use an aftermarket sensor? And of course he said aftermarket sensor. So now we have a starting point. So I'm just going to show you a quick diag on this in case you come across this code, you have this issue. You have this issue after you replace it, it's still not working right. Hopefully this helps you out. It's a pretty straightforward one. You see it every once in a while on the Hondas and the Acuras. Give you a rundown on the diag, and let's get to it. All right, so underneath the car now, facing forward, engine, transmission to the left. Right in between the two here is your crank position sensor right here. So usually there's a little like cover plate. His is already gone. I'm guessing he took it off, but there's like a bolt here, and you take that plate down out of the way. Then this wiring here, it's got like a little kind of rubber boot. You can peel it back and see, try to see there, that's the connector. So you just on this side here, little squeeze tab and release, and you can get this guy unplugged. So it's a 3-pin connector. You can see it there. And then there's your sensor. Now this customer had already replaced the sensor with one that was, aftermarket. He didn't say what brand or anything, but we know it wasn't a factory one. And he was still having the same issue. So first thing you do, key on, you want to check for voltage at this connector. Specifically, it's kind of tough to peel it back here that you guys can see, but you have 3 different color wires. So there's a yellow and black, it's a brown and yellow in the middle, and blue on one end. So pretty straightforward. First thing first, key on, you want to check this yellow and black wire, which is the one on this end here. Get a little pin or something that'll fit into there, and you should have 12 volts. If you have 12 volts there, that checks out. You move on to the next step, which is, again, with the key on, making sure that on this third one, which is the blue wire, you have about 5 volts. That's your reference voltage. You should have 5 volts there. If you have 5 volts there, which he did, that checks out. Then what you can also do is across 1 and 2, so the yellow and black and then the yellow and brown on the middle, you can check across those two for voltage. If all those 3 things check out, you've basically concluded that it's got power, the PCM's good, it's sending the signal that it's supposed to, and that also you have the reference voltage, the ground is there. All those things are what they're supposed to be. You don't have broken wires or opens or shorts or anything like that. If you didn't have those voltages, then you would have to check back. So like if you didn't have the 12 volts on the black and white with the key on, then you have to go back and see, is there an issue between the wiring for this and probably the relay for the fuel injection, the main relay. If you didn't have the reference voltage, you'd want to check for ground at the G101 ground, make sure that that's there and that nothing's broken in between those. We have all that stuff, and so what that means is it points to the sensor, which again he replaced. So the reason I stress this is because this is what happened to this customer. He replaced it with an aftermarket sensor. This guy right here. Not sure brand of this one, but it didn't work. Unplugged, plugged in, didn't change anything. Wasn't giving us really a reading. It was basically just giving a reading as if the sensor wasn't plugged in. So this sensor, whatever brand it was, did not work. So got all of our voltages where they're supposed to be, everything checked out. So I ordered up from Acura the actual part. And this is the part number for the crank sensor, crankshaft position sensor. Don't get it confused with the TDC sensor or the camshaft position sensor. This is the crankshaft position sensor. It's not behind the crank pulley. That's a top dead center one. This is the crank position sensor. So P0335, this is the one that you want. So again, from the exhaust here, engine oil pan here, transmission here, you're in the back. It is under the cover that's usually here. So all you got to do is take that one 10 mil bolt out, and then sometimes you kind of have to like get something in here and pry it out. The old sensor, obviously, you want to, try to not break it off in there, but they usually come out okay on these aluminum pans. So you get that out, you get the new sensor. This is the new sensor from Acura installed. Has an O-ring on it when you buy it. Put a little oil on it. Make sure it's seated flush. You don't want to hammer on these things, obviously. You push them in as much as you can. Sometimes what I will do is just get a little screwdriver on here, right at this flat spot, and just give it a little tiny tap with the hammer just to work it in a little bit. Tighten the 10 mil bolt. Plug this guy back in and try to kind of cover it back up the best you can with this stupid little condom cunt cap thing, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There we go. So now that that's all set, we can bring the car back down, clear the codes, and then you'll want to do a clearing of the crank pattern and a relearn of the crank pattern. You want to do that anytime you replace this sensor. Now, I already did the relearn on this one, but essentially what you need is a scan tool that can read into the special functions. You go in there, and there'll be usually two different ones. One will be to clear out the current like crank pattern. So that's pretty straightforward. It's like clearing a code. So you clear that out, and then you have to do the pattern learning, which is pretty straightforward. You need the car up to like, a certain temp it wants it at, and once it's there, it'll have you basically just redline the gas, let off, turn the key off, turn the key on. It just kind of walks you through the steps. So, if you don't have one of those, it might be fine, but, better to do it than not, I would say, just to err on the side of caution. But yeah, did all of that, and now we can check it out and see if it fires right up, which it does, no hesitation. No check engine light, no VSA light, no anything other than looks like a, tire pressure light, but we'll take that. And it's running nice and steady now, so that's it. We fixed it. So what did we learn today? Well, one, can't go wrong with the good cola. Two, aftermarket parts are not all they're cracked up to be. They're cheaper for a reason. They are not the factory part. And I tell everybody, especially with certain vehicles, like in general, Hondas and Acuras, and frankly, a lot of the Asian stuff. I can't really speak to domestic because I don't deal with it as much, but like Toyotas and Subarus and Hyundais and all these other ones, like if you don't use a factory sensor for some of these important things like crank sensor, cam sensor, different things that have like a real electronic responsibility to how the car runs, you just got to go factory. Like it is more money. Like I think the crank sensor on this was like $230 or something, whereas an aftermarket one's probably like, $100 something bucks. Like it's a price difference, but it also fixes the car. So, on a car that's 15 years old, like kind of worth it if you're planning on keeping the thing, right? So, that's my 2 cents on it anyway, but you can't go wrong with factory parts. Pay the extra couple of bucks. Like, yeah, if like the factory part's $1,000 and you can try an aftermarket one for like, I don't know, $200. Sure, give it a shot, especially if it's easy to replace. If it's in a difficult area and you only want to do the job once, just get the factory part. Factory parts always work better than aftermarket. They just do. Especially on these Hondas and Acuras, especially when you're dealing with these kind of electronics. Factory parts. That's all I'm going to say. OEM is the way. So if this was helpful, if it, got you on the road to getting running again, God bless. Give me a comment, subscribe, do something. Let me know if there's other stuff you guys want me to make videos of. I'm trying to, make some real life stuff that comes in the shop here to help people out. So, yeah, let me know what you think, and catch you in the next one.